How's everybody doing? Happy New Year. Hope everybody's doing well today. Today I'm taking over my wife live. So I'm gonna help her today, do a live for her this morning. I am conscious. For those who don't know me, I'm conscious. For those of y'all who do know me, again, you already know who I am. Conscious. I'm gonna give everybody a minute to come in here. And then we're gonna go ahead and get started today. Good morning, welcome. About to get started in a second. Bear with me, I'm about to get started soon. As it gets about 30 more seconds, I'm gonna get started with y'all. Hope everybody's having a blessed morning this morning. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope everybody's enjoyed their New Year's coming in. Hope everybody was safe. Today's subject is going to be called, today's subject is never limit yourself to what you can do in life. Never limit yourself to what you can do in life. Now, this morning, I was told by my wife, we had a conversation, and she said, can you speak this morning? I said, sure, I can. I got you. I'll do it. I'll go ahead and speak. So I didn't really come prepared exactly to know exactly what to say today, but God touched me. And when I was asleep, he touched me and he said, you don't ever have to worry about being limited in life. Ever. And I said, that's it. That's it. Never worry about what you can't do in life. I said, because it don't have a limit. Now, let me tell y'all, a lot of us in life, we just feel like, we're not good enough. A lot of us in life feel like that we can't get things done. A lot of us in life feel like that we always are stuck inside of a box. Yes, we feel like we're stuck inside a box, like we're packaged, right? But see, that's the thing though. That doesn't have to be your situation. It doesn't. Because more than anything, you are greater than that. See, we limit ourselves in a lot of ways, more than one way. And that's not your situation. It doesn't ever have to be your situation. Like I said, you're better than that. See, that's the thing. In a lot of ways, what a lot of people don't understand is God gave us the power of free will. God gave us the ability to move and decide in the ways that we want. He didn't sit there and never tell us or ever make it as the way we had to sit there and be stuck in one spot our whole life, or as the way we had to always be stuck in one spot at any type of time. God gave us the ability to have free will. God gave us the ability to be able to do whatever we want. God bless us in so many ways that we're able to go out here and do things in a lot of ways. That's why God is a forgiving God. God has said in a lot of different ways that I can give you the power of free will. He never wanted us to ever be limited to one thing. He never wanted us to ever be feeling like we had to be stuck in life. And people don't understand. That's why in a lot of ways when we pray, this is me just being honest with y'all. Like I said, when I get on these lives, I'm just real. I just give it straight to y'all. Ain't no prophecy or nothing. It's just me, I'm conscious, being straight with y'all. But I'm just being honest. That's why when we do a lot of things, especially if it's a bad thing that we do in life, God is a forgiving God because God gave us the power of free will. You never have to limit yourself in life. Before I go deep into what I'm talking about, just hear me out. I'm gonna read a Bible verse for y'all today. I'm gonna read a Bible verse that I wrote down. Like I told y'all in my lab when I was on the lab with my wife the other day, I'm just now starting to get into the Bible, learn a little bit more. So every now and then I write down a Bible verse when God talks to me or when it really touches my heart. So I'm gonna give y'all two Bible verses. Let's start with this one. Psalms chapter 37, verse 3 through 11. It says, "Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and feed on his faithfulness. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass." Key word, he shall bring it to pass. I have one more Bible verse for y'all that I'm going to read to y'all. It's Ephesians chapter 5, verse 17. And it says here, "Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is." The Lord wants to reveal to you his will for you. But in order for you to receive that understanding, you have to remove your limits. Do not limit what you think God can do through you. So this is written in the Bible in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 17. It says, in order to receive what God wants you to do and his plan for you, you cannot limit yourself. Do not limit yourself. That's what's important. Do not limit yourself to what you can do in life. Because in order for God to open up and show you what your path is, you have to unlimit yourself. Now, what do you mean, conscious? What do you mean by unlimit yourself? Like, you're confusing me here. You're making me, what I mean by unlimiting yourself is I'm basically trying to tell y'all on this live right now that you have to go out there and try different things. Because we all know that we have a purpose in life. I told y'all before, everybody does not get to embrace this thing called life that we are living. We got to embrace life. God put you here. You able to walk this earth. So as you're walking this earth, I don't care what your age is right now when you're on this live, it's for a reason. So you have a purpose to serve through God. You really do. But in order to understand your purpose that God has for you, you have to go out here and you have to try different things because we don't necessarily know exactly what God's plan is. We don't. We don't necessarily know. Excuse me. Let me put this out a little bit. I don't want to throw nobody off with the change that I have on. But like I said, you don't necessarily know exactly what God's plan is for you just yet. So in order to know what God's plan is, you have to step out there and try different things. Do things that you're good at. It's okay to sit there and try to start, a cooking business. If you think you're good at cooking, it's okay to go out there and try to start a cooking business. But if that situation doesn't go that well, have another plan and try something else. But in order to understand exactly what God has for you, you have to try. That's what that Bible verse in Ephesians is saying. Because as you're trying, God's going to reveal to you exactly what you're good at, exactly what you're great at. And God is going to give you the right type of tools that you need to be successful. See, in the Bible, it also says this: as long as you trust in me, I will guide your footsteps. You can never go wrong with trusting God to guide your footsteps and move you in the right direction. See, in a lot of ways, like I said, we always limit ourselves to certain things. Sometimes that comes from the way we are raised. Sometimes that comes from the things that we see or the certain people that we surround ourselves with. It's circumstances that sometimes makes us limit ourselves. But God never wanted us to be limited. God always wanted us to know that we can do so much more in life and that we can go out here and we can be successful as we want to be and that we can be exactly who he wants us to be. Never limit yourself. Like I said, when I come on these lives, I can only use my testimony. I can only tell my truth. I can't get, anything out of a book or anything else to speak to y'all and move y'all in the right directions. I can only talk about my life and what I've been through and hope that y'all can understand and relate to me. So let me tell y'all, when I was coming up in these streets, I always limited myself. Always did. Because when I was in these streets, I didn't think I was going to make it out them streets. I never did. That was me limiting myself. I was always into trouble, always doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing. I was always sitting there, never sitting there trusting God's direction. And multiple times and different times, God told me that I have a plan for you, son. Slow down. And I was just ignoring God, like, okay, God, I hear you, but I'm gonna slow down when I'm ready. I'm not, I was sitting there and I was limiting myself. I knew I knew I had different types of talents. I knew that I was good at different things. I knew I could speak to people because I love talking to people. I could relate to people. A lot of people used to tell me all the time, like, wow, you understand me in more ways than somebody else, and I barely even know you. I knew I could relate to people. I also knew that I was good at, writing music. I also knew I was good at poetry. You know what I'm saying? But I was caught up in the street life. I was limiting myself. I was staying stuck in one position. That's the thing. God had a bigger plan for me, but I was not focused on the bigger plan. I was more so just staying stuck and limiting myself. And that's why I never understood what God had in store for me. That's why I went through the things that I went through before I came out a better person, before I was able to find my happiness in life. See, when I'm sitting here and I'm talking to y'all, when I'm sitting and I'm discussing this situation with y'all, I'm not just talking about don't limit yourself just so that you can be successful in life. I'm also saying don't just limit yourself so that you can also be happy in life. Happiness is important. Let me tell y'all something. It don't matter how much success you get. I don't care if you hit the lottery today. I don't care if you start a business and you become a millionaire tomorrow. I don't care if you get a raise at a job and you making $250,000, or you get a better job and you all of a sudden making this much money, you buying land, you doing whatever. Anything that deals with success, when it comes down to you being successful, when it comes down to you coming up, you are not going to ever be able to enjoy that success if you first off don't have God in your heart. That's number one. God is the Almighty. He's the ruler. He is the healer. He is the king. He's the person who made you. You have to always make sure that you got God in your heart first of all. Without God in your heart, you won't have the things that you had. That's number one. And number two, you can never ever enjoy success if you're not happy within yourself. If you ain't happy within yourself, then what does success matter to anybody? It don't matter. You can have the houses, the cars, the jewelry. You can do so many things in life. But if you are not happy within yourself, then it does not matter at all. It doesn't change anything. Because all that money and that success, it ain't gonna be nothing. Nothing. So at the end of the day, when I say don't limit yourself, when I say that, I also talking about within you, your happiness, who you are. Don't limit yourself in life itself. Okay? Don't. Don't be stuck in one spot. Ever. Don't get caught up. See, let me tell y'all something. And I'm gonna get deep with it. I'm gonna get real deep with this. A lot of people in this world are just stuck. There's a lot of lost people in this world. There's a lot of lost people. They don't know who they are. They're going through life and they're just doing everything to try to figure out who they are. They're lost within themselves. We're talking about grown-up adults like me. You know what I'm saying? And like y'all that's on this live. They're lost and they're stuck because they're not happy within themselves. They feeling like I'm not good enough to go play basketball. I had my chances in high school and I messed that up, so I can't get that back. That's not true. Look at the guy, Lethal Shooter, on Instagram, who be shooting the ball in the hoop. Y'all can go look him up. He be doing all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And just because of his status and how he worked on himself, he made it out of DC. He made it out. He was able to, go shoot the ball. He ain't had to go to college to do that or nothing. But people so stuck on limiting themselves. Don't think they could pick up a ball and go try and come back from what they came from. A lot of people say, "Oh, I ain't good enough to own a club. I'm not good enough to go do this. I'm not good enough to go do that." So because they're sitting there and they're thinking these things, they are stuck. They're just walking around doing everything they can to try to deal with the fact that they feel like they failed in life, failed in success. You know what I'm saying? They sitting there and they limiting themselves when there's so many greater things out here that they can be doing. They can be touching the world in so many ways. Little do they know, God probably have a bigger plan for them, but they don't understand that because they're stuck limiting themselves. That is why it's important never to limit yourself. See, that's the thing that we don't understand. This is why I go back to what I say. When it come down to God, and I say this a lot when I give on these lives, you have to keep God in your heart. Because see, the devil, he will try to trick you out your position. He'll try to trick you out your position. Yes, he will. And when the devil tries to trick you out your position, the devil uses your mind to do that. He plays tricks with your mind. You know, you'll be feeling like Scarface. Some of y'all know the song that's on here. My mind's playing tricks on me. That's what the devil does. He plays tricks with your mind. And then he tries to touch you right here. He tries to come for this right here. But he can't come from this when you got God in your heart. See, God, when God's in your heart, he can build up as many barriers as he wants to. He can make it sound like it's an army base. God can put down an electric fence. He can do whatever it takes. He'll put his angels around your heart to make sure that they are ready for war when the devil tries to come. Can't touch your heart. But he'll play tricks with your mind. But let me tell y'all something, like I tell y'all on these lives. The heart is way more bigger and way more stronger than the mind. Your mind might get to playing tricks on you. You get to think of different things, especially when it come down to, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that, But your heart will sit there and tell you. That's why we have a gut. I know I can get this done. I know I'm better than that. I know you can. That's why it's important to keep God first. Because when God's in your heart, God will touch you. God will even tell you yourself. Don't limit yourself. Do not limit yourself. Don't. You can do it. You can. I had a situation, let me tell you, I had a situation the other day where I felt like, I'm talking to my wife and I'm telling her, I'm like, look, I know I'm a good husband. I try, Some of y'all who was on this live that didn't see the live when we was both on it, I'm gonna tell y'all, I told my wife, I said, I feel like I'm a good husband, but I'm not a great husband. I feel like I provide, I do this and I do that, but I could be doing so much more. You know, that's the devil. He was messing with my mind. He was trying to get me because see, when you have somebody that you love and your love is powerful and y'all growing, like I said, I don't limit myself. You know what I'm saying? So when you have love that's strong and you're doing different things that make your love more powerful, here comes the devil. He don't like to see you happy. He don't like happiness. He don't like to see you doing good things in life or doing better things in life. The devil want me to go back to the streets so bad. That's why he be trying to play with my mind. And like I said, I'm telling my wife these things, and I'm like, man, I feel like I provide, do this and do that, because I do. I'm like y'all. I'm just like y'all that's on this live watching me. I have my struggles every day. Yeah, I provide financially, but sometimes financially I do have my struggles. I left the streets. I stopped doing what I was doing in the streets, and I chose to take a different route that was more positive. So yes, instead of having money all the time, sometimes I do have my struggles. So I told my wife, yeah, sometimes I feel like this and that. But my wife told me, you're an amazing husband. You're a great provider. You do what you can for us and our family, and that is what matters. My wife said to me, she said, I would rather to have you providing for us the best you can and doing what you can and being here and loving me and loving our children than for you to be out there doing what you was doing in the streets and I lose you forever. That's more important than anything. Now imagine this, y'all. If I didn't have God in my heart, if I only limited myself to doing one thing as a husband instead of doing multiple things as a husband, because I'm not just a provider. I'm my wife's lover. I'm her confidant. I'm her backbone. I'm her uplifter. I'm everything to her. I do more than that. And also I'm also the type of person that inspires her as the best I can. Whenever God tells me something, I tell her something. That's who I am. So I do more than just limiting myself to being one type of husband. Okay? So if I was just one type of husband, I only limited myself, or if God wasn't in my heart and God didn't know my heart and how big my heart is and what I've been through in my life, would I have a good wife to love me? Would I have a wife who sees me for the man that I am today? Would I have a wife who can uplift me and help me to want to be a better man and keep me on the right track? If I only limited myself. The question also is, would I still be here? Some of y'all know my story that's on this live. Some of y'all that's coming on this live this morning know my story. I know my testimony. Others don't. But let me tell y'all something. For those who don't know, and make it as short as possible, I'm telling y'all, I used to be in these streets. I used to get in trouble a lot. I was out here wilding. I was real wild. I was in deep. I wasn't no big time type of person or nothing, but I was no average corner boy neither. I was moving shit. I was moving stuff. I'm gonna say that. Y'all saw I was about to curse, but God said, don't you do it. I was moving stuff, okay? And I was real deep in these streets at one point in time, you know, and I went through a lot when I was in those streets, shootouts, fist fights, all kind of stuff that I was doing. Look me in my eyes right now, you see I mean business when I'm saying it. I really was out here doing stuff that was limiting myself at one point because I didn't feel like there was nothing for me on the other side. I didn't have love in my life. I ain't had nobody who loved me and really loved me for me and accepted me for me. I had women who only wanted me for the money or wanted me for the outlook or wanted me because I had a reputation. I was into it with family all the time. Family, I wasn't that close to a lot of my family members. And a lot of my family, you know, felt like I was going to die in these streets anyway. You know, I'm being real with y'all. And then on top of that, top of me going through that, I had to watch my back all the time. I couldn't even sleep. I had to sleep around with guns. I had to sleep with a gun on me. I had to go to the door with a gun on me. I had to do different things. And there's a lot of other things that came with it that I cannot say because I don't want to open up no cases or nothing. Or because I'm gonna be honest, my name been mixed up in a lot of things, and I've done a lot of things. But like I said, I did a lot, and like I said, I was no average corner boy. At one point in time, I was moving in and out of town. When my son was before my son was born, we said on the live when we told our story. Before my son was born, I went out of town, and I was doing things and coming back and forth in and out of town. I was well connected. I was in these streets for real, and I meant business when I was in them. The streets swallowed me because I allowed myself to be limited, even when God told me multiple times when I survived through those situations, I still was limiting myself. Like I said at the beginning of this live, God said, son, I got a bigger plan for you. You need to stop. I kept touching that stove. Y'all heard me talk about the stove before. I didn't stop. I wasn't listening to God. I was like, okay, God, I hear you, but I'm gonna stop when I'm ready. Because I didn't see the bigger plan that God had for me. I was limiting myself. Like it said in Ephesians, if you want to know what God has planned for you, you cannot limit yourself. I was limiting myself. Like I said, I only know how to tell my story to help y'all. Anytime you see me come on this live, you're going to see me talk about the streets because this is my story. This is the only way y'all can relate to me and I can help y'all and get and touch y'all because in the end of the day, my story is what I use to help others. I can't make this up. I can't get it out of a book. I can't get it out of a phone. I can't do none of that. If I'm coming on here and my wife want me to talk to y'all, I have to be as real with y'all as possible. And I tend to keep it real. So a lot of times you're going to hear me talk about the streets. If I ever become a mentor, people going to hear me talk about the streets because that's my testimony. I lived it. That's what I've been through in my life. That's what I was able to survive to help other people. So let's get back into it. Not only that, but you know, in a lot of ways, not only did I survive the streets at one point, but like I said, in between, I had surgeries and a lot of other different things. But the point I'm trying to make to y'all is the things that I went through, God had a bigger plan for me on the other side. Okay? Because when I went through the certain things, I started to see, okay, maybe I am better at something. Maybe I can do something better. You know, God had a bigger plan. I just had to unlimit myself for me to see the other plan. It took me getting my mind right, re-strategizing when I was in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And thinking things through. Because when you're in the hospital, let me tell you something. When you're in the hospital, you got nothing but time to think. Nothing but time. See, when I was out moving fast and living fast at one point, I ain't had time to sit down and think my life through. I ain't had time to, get my mind right. When I was in that hospital, I had nothing but time to think. And when I was in that hospital and God said, when he sat there and I got sick the last time, which was real serious for my 5th surgery that I just recently had, God had said, I told you, son. Basically, when he said, I told you, son, he was basically saying, I told you if you kept touching that stove, I was going to burn you. God sat me down because he knew that if he took me through what I went through, I could come out on the other side better. He did that so that I can see what the plan was that God had for me and start figuring things out. So when God said, I told you, son, I just sat back in that hospital like this. A few months, I just sat there in my bed sometimes and I would just be strategizing, thinking about my life. Think about everything that I've done, everything I've been through, where I went wrong, how I misstepped. And when I did that before I had the surgery, I came up with a plan a plan for when I get out the hospital about what I was going to do. God told me a long time ago he had a plan, and I had to trust in God. So a lot of time when I was in the hospital, it wasn't just because I was fighting for my life. I don't want everybody to think, oh, you waited till the last minute, Conscious. I don't want everybody to think, oh, Conscious, you waited till the last minute. Why'd you wait till the last minute? No, it wasn't because I was fighting for my life. Because let me tell y'all something, for those who don't know me. Let me tell y'all something, because a lot of y'all on this live, y'all just know me when I come on this live, but y'all don't really actually know me. I'm not scared to die. I'm not scared to go if God called me home. I wasn't scared to die then, and I ain't scared to die now. I changed because I wanted to change. I changed because I trusted God. Yes, it took me a while to get my mind right. It took me a while to understand God's plan, but I trusted in God because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't have to do it, it's what I wanted to do. Because I didn't know, to be honest with y'all, I was facing so much when I was in that hospital. I only had 5 months to live. Yeah, I had a heart and lung transplant, but I had to go through a lot of screening, a lot of different things. I wasn't guaranteed to get that transplant. They were saying I was going to be in a transitional home. I was going to be in a transitional home. For those who don't know what a transitional home is, it's where they put you at. And your family members can come. They can come visit you. They can come see you, spend time with you, take you out walking and all that. But all your family can come visit you so that they can make you comfortable before you transition over. So when I was in the hospital at this time, like I said, I didn't know if I was going to live or die. Okay, so I made the choice to change. But it wasn't because I was sitting and I was scared, like, oh, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I didn't know if I was gonna live or die. I might live, I might not. There's always an up and down with surgery, right? There's always two sides to the take. There's always two sides to it, you know. But I sat there and told myself I'ma change for me. Because I know I deserve better than this. I know my children deserve better than this. And I know I can be great in a lot of ways. These streets, that was only one thing I've done in my life. But I know I could do so much more in life. I've only done one thing most of my life, and that's be in the streets. The streets took up a lot of years of my life. A lot of my years of my life that I could have been doing more things or exploring the world and doing other things or doing what God wanted me to do, I wasted them in the streets. So I told myself in that hospital bed, I'm not going to waste them no more. I came up with a plan. I strategized, and I had my surgery, okay? I actually got to a point where I actually got qualified for some organs. That was a blessing through God. But then when I did that, when I had the surgery, I went through the transitional world. Transitional world was not easy neither. That was a serious test. That was very, very serious. I had my judgment day. For those of y'all don't know, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is just my opinion. Everybody got their own vision, their own opinion, so don't let me confuse y'all. Just trust what I'm saying. I'm only know how to tell my testimony and touch y'all. That's it. But like I said, I had my judgment day in the transitional world. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, this is my belief and my honesty about it. Everybody's judgment day is not on the day that you leave this earth. Some people have different experiences. Your judgment day gonna come when God ready for your judgment day to come, okay? It's gonna happen when he's ready for it to happen. Just because you have your judgment day, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going through the gates right away, okay? That's my opinion. I had my judgment day when I was in the transitional world. I had to confess all of my sins. I had to tell things that I wouldn't even tell my own mama. I wouldn't even tell my own wife. I wouldn't even tell my own best friend. I wouldn't tell nobody certain things. I had to sit there and be as honest as possible about my life. I had to go through tests. I had to go and do different things. And a lot of things, you know, like I say in the Bible, they always ask, what do you do with the talents I gave you? I had to use talents that I was given in order to survive in the transitional world. I was tested. I was tried because I was fighting down there to stay alive. Because like I said, I was in a transitional world. For those who don't know who the transitional world is, it's a pit stop between heaven and it's a pit stop between hell. When you're there, it's things that you're going to go through. There's things that you're going to see. And it's up to, and sometimes people are strong enough to overcome that and come out on the other side. And some people aren't. It's an is and it ain't. I struggled with myself. I saw family members. I saw a lot of different things that made me feel comfortable there, but I didn't get too comfortable. I didn't get too comfortable. I didn't get too comfortable because I knew that God had a bigger plan for me. But believe me, did I miss my family members? Yes. Did my family members talk to me? Yes. And it's crazy because let me share something with y'all. I'm gonna share something with y'all that's gonna touch y'all. And I mean, I know that my family might get upset with me for saying this, but in the end of the day, I want to touch people and I want to reach people. So I don't limit myself to what I can say and what I can't say. It's my testimony. I'm going to tell it. So listen to me. When I was in the transitional world, I was up in heaven at one point, right? In the heaven part. Like I said, it's not the actual heaven. It's just a pit stop where God can come and talk to you sometime, or where you can see things that deal with somebody that you might know in heaven, right? So I'm in heaven, and I see my aunts that I miss dearly. You know, my aunt. I'm not gonna say name, but I had my aunts that I miss dearly. So I'm spending time with them, talking to them, and they looking down. They like, yeah, we saw you doing this, we saw you doing that. Some like, hey, you know, he wasn't doing it like that, you know. And then they find out different things, you know, and they showing me different things. So one day I'm walking with them. I'm walking just like this, boom, 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 walking, and then all of a sudden while I'm walking, we come across this room. So there's an empty room right here. It's like it's a little door, like it's like say setting up a room for somebody to come in, right? And I say, what's that right there? What's that? And he's like, oh nephew, don't worry, we can't get into all that. Just know that somebody getting old. And I'm like, getting old? And I'm like, the only two people I know that's top notch, the oldest, that's carrying this family right now, I was like, it's my auntie and my grandmother, which is my auntie is my grandmother's sister. So I'm like, oh no, I ain't going out like that, cause see the thing is, my grandma has her health issues and stuff. So I'm like, I'm real defensive, and I love my grandmother to death. You know, I love my grandma with everything in me, so I'm real defensive of her. So I'm like up there, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not going out like that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, if I survive this situation, I gotta go back. And when I get back, at the end of the day, when I get back, I'm not having it. I'm not going out like that. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make to y'all is, when I came back, when it was all said and done, all this time to pass, you know, it wasn't made, that room wasn't set for my grandmother. And see, here's the crazy thing. I told my own cousins. I told my cousins that I'm real close to. I told them the story about what I experienced when I saw her mother up there and what they told me and everything. And you know, my cousin was like, wow, like, that's crazy, because, you know, we're going through this and going through that right now. And I'm like, I know, you know, and this is, and I'm like, I know. And they like, wow, I didn't know you knew that, or whatever. The does, nah. So it's like my cousin, like, she couldn't believe it, you know. And then all of a sudden, all this time done passed after we had that conversation, me and my cousin or whatever, and my aunt passed away, y'all. My aunt passed away. Like, it hurts me to say this, and it really does. Like, my aunt is no longer with us now. You know, she passed away. You know, so that room that my aunts had told me about that day when I was in the transitional world, that room was for my aunt. It wasn't for my grandmother. It was for my aunt. That's what they was preparing to call to welcome home. So when they say that, when they say that your family members are up there waiting on you, they're watching down on you, they're ready to embrace you, it's true. It's true. I'm here to tell y'all. I'm the living testimony. I can only tell y'all my story. I know a lot of y'all probably just, some people have their beliefs where they just be like, yeah, whatever. How I know where I'm gonna be at when God call me home, this, that, third. I don't know where I'm going. I just know I'm going with God. You know, it's true. It's true. If you're meant to be up in them gates, if you're meant to be up there with your loved ones, they do come back for you. They know when you're coming. They know. They know before you know. They know when you're coming. And they embrace you when you get there. This is why it's important to never limit yourself in life. You never know when your time gonna come. You never know when your judgment day gonna come. Like I said, just because your judgment day come don't mean you're gonna transition over. But when your judgment day do come, you want to be ready. You want to be ready. You want to be able to say that you've done certain things. You've done more than just one thing, compared to you just being able to say, I don't know, I ain't never did. Da, da, da. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was down there, like I said, I only did one thing with my life. Only one thing with my life. All I've done is the streets. I did damage. That's all I did. But like I said, back when I was in those streets, God had already told me I got a bigger plan for you. See, God had always had mercy on my soul. That's the thing about God, and that's what's so great about God. God is a loving and forgiving God. God, when he knows that you have a plan, and when he knows that you got a direction to go, he's going to do everything he can to push you in that direction, no matter how many mistakes you make along the way. He's going to keep you on the road and keep you on the path going. If y'all agree with me, say I agree right here in these comments. If y'all don't agree with me, let me know that you don't agree. I love everybody. I love to talk to y'all when I come on here, and I love to hear what y'all have to say as I'm talking. So please, if you agree, say I agree. If you're not afraid to type in these comments, say I agree with you. And if you don't agree, then say I don't agree. But I'm just telling you, God is a forgiving God. God is a loving God. God will have mercy on your soul in a lot more ways than you think. He know that you're going to misstep, because God knows you better than anybody, because God created you. Like I said, I only limited myself to one thing in my life. So when I went through my judgment day, I was not able to say I did so many things with my life. I did these things with my life. But because of the fact that God is a forgiving God, God is a loving God. When I was down there, because I don't know, everybody has their judgment day in different ways. I had mine in hell, okay? I went, yes, I started off in heaven in the transitional world, but I also went to hell in the transitional world. I seen both sides. Okay. And when I was down there in the transitional world, when I was, down there in hell and everything, I was going through my judgment day there. But guess what? Just because I only did one thing with my life, and because I did so much damage, or because of the person that I was and how intelligent I was, the devil liked me. He loved it. He loved it. And I'm sitting there and I'm telling them everything about my life and stuff, and they're laughing like they're watching cable. But at the end of the day, God had a bigger plan. He had a bigger plan. That's the thing. God shined his light down, and he was able to say, nah, we're moving in this direction. Okay? We're moving in this direction. I'm not through with him yet. That's why the devil couldn't have me when I was in that transitional world. He couldn't have me. See, the devil wanted me to transition over with him. He wanted to keep me there. He was like, I like him. I want to keep him here. Matter of fact, I want him to sit here with me. He was talking about his followers. He was talking about the demons that were sitting there with him. In the movies, they always try to make it sound like his followers got these big old hoodies on and they're black and they're this, that, the third. They don't look like that. I'm here to tell y'all they don't look like that. But humans coming, they can shape shift and do all that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. That's why I try to tell y'all it's a war outside out here. Okay, it's a war. You could be walking past a demon at the store and you don't even know that's a demon. I'm not talking about somebody that's an average person that's going home today. I'm talking about a demon that's watching your every move. This is why the devil knows so much about you, because he got people watching your every move. Like I said, when I was in the transitional world, I saw what I saw. I can only give my testimony. That's it, to help y'all. I'm telling you. God said, I'm not through with you yet. The devil, he was like, I like him. I want to keep him here with me. He wanted me to be with his followers. He was like, I don't even want him to just go through the hell and just suffer. I want him to be with me because I can use this guy. I like this guy. God said, no, I got a bigger plan for you. That's why I came out on the other side. That is exactly why. Because God wasn't having it. Because God said, he said it from the beginning before I even got sick. I got a bigger plan for you, but I just didn't listen. That's why it's important to know you have to keep God in your heart. God is a loving, forgiving God. God will always be there when you need him. God was there for me. He gave me the strength to walk through that, beat that situation, and come out on the other side and face more tests and still win. And at the end of the day, come back here so I could talk to y'all. Because when I came out of that coma, when I came out of that transitional world, I was reborn. Okay? Yes, I was reborn. I didn't look the same no more. I wasn't as big as I was when I first came out. My voice was different when I learned how to talk. My voice is different right now. My voice has been like this since I had the surgery. But this ain't my normal voice that what people are used to hearing. That's known me since I was this small. Like, my voice is real different. How I talk is different. How I move and how I act is different. I'm on here talking to y'all right now on camera, giving my testimony to help somebody today, to help somebody elevate in life. I get on here when God tell me different things and I talk to y'all. I'm able to do that because I changed. See, God got bigger plans for me. I don't know exactly what his biggest plan is for me yet. I'm just moving as I go. I'm taking it one day at a time, but I'm figuring it out. And I'm figuring it out fast because I know this life ain't promised, tomorrow ain't promised to nobody. Because those who don't know, God coming back. Oh, he coming back. It's a war outside. I don't know if some of y'all just heard, but let me share this with y'all. Because I'm always going to talk about multiple things when I get on here. That's just me. But let me tell y'all something. Just yesterday, I was reading an article. It just came up in my phone. Don't know how it came up, but I'm reading an article, and it said that Japan got hit with an earthquake at a certain magnitude, and it said that Japan has issued a warning for a tsunami. A tsunami. Japan ain't never had no tsunamis. You know what a tsunami? Y'all know how big a tsunami is. That looked like something out of the movie 2012. Y'all know tsunamis is like big old waves that can wash out a whole entire country. Whenever has Japan had that? Mixed up with an earthquake. Never has that happened in Japan's history. Look it up. It's never happened. They've had earthquakes before, but not no big old tsunamis to come with it. Why is a tsunami coming all of a sudden? Because God is coming back. That is why all these different things are happening. There's a war outside, okay? Stop limiting yourself to what you can do in life. Understand now that you have a bigger purpose. Understand now that you're meant to do so much more and go out here and do it. Like I said, if you want to know what your purpose is in life and what God has planned for you, you have to know that you cannot limit yourself. You have to know that you have to take that limit off. It says it in Ephesians. Let me read that scripture to y'all one more time, because somebody on this live is just now getting on this live and did not hear me when I read that scripture. It's important because, like I said, before I shut this live down, before I get up off here and go back to being with my wife and go back to being with my family, I want to make sure I touch somebody. I don't care if I got to stay on this live for 2 hours. I'm going to touch somebody. That's what's important to me. This is my way of giving back for all the wrong I've done in those streets. Is helping other people and changing their lives. I don't care if I change 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't care if I change 5. It's about the fact that I'm changing somebody and helping somebody. That's what's important to me. So let me read this again. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 17. It says in Ephesians 5:17, wherefore be yet not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. The Lord wants to reveal to you his will for you. But in order to receive that understanding, you have to remove your limits. Don't limit what you think God can do through you if you want to understand. So basically, like I said before, you cannot limit yourself. We don't know what God's plan is for us. None of us do. We don't know if we destined to be a successful motivational speaker. We don't know if we're destined to be a preacher, a prophet, a pastor. We don't know if we're destined to be a cook, a chef. We don't know if we're destined to be a therapist. We don't know what it is that God has planned for us. But if you only are smallly limiting yourself to try to understanding what God's plan is for you, if you're only out here focused on one thing, you will never, ever figure out exactly what it is that God had planned for you in the beginning. And like I tell people all the time when I get on this live, we all have a purpose. That is why you got to embrace life. Some people don't get to embrace this thing called life. Understand that. I was in the hospital. I seen babies who didn't make it. Okay? Babies who didn't survive. I seen young kids who didn't have a chance to survive. Everybody don't get to embrace this thing called life. So if you're living right now, I don't care if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, whatever it is, you have a purpose to serve. There's a reason why you've been through a lot of things. Because everybody go through things in life. We all been through something in our life. We all have. Let's not sit here and fake in front on here like we all lived a holy, perfect life. Because everybody done did wrong in life. We all done been through things in life. We done all sinned. We done all did all kind of things. But there's a reason why no matter what you've done or what you've been through, there's a reason why at your age you're still here. God has a bigger purpose for you. But how will you know what your bigger purpose is before you leave this earth if you limiting yourself to one thing? You have to get out here and try different things. You got to get out here and do different things. And when you doing these different things, ask God, what is your plan for me? What is your plan for me? Tell God, say, I want to do what you put me here to do. Please help me with my footsteps. Like it says in the Bible, God will never mislead your footsteps. All you have to do is ask for guidance. That's just like the story about Moses. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Moses. That's right. Come when conscious talk, conscious get deep. You don't care if he stay on here for 3 hours. I get deep when I talk in different kind of ways. I go into Bible scriptures and all that. That's how I do. I'm only talking what God want me to talk. I'm gonna stop talking when God is pleased. When he tell me, son, I'm pleased, that's when I stop. For those who know me, that see me on these lives, I always say at the end, God is pleased, because he'll touch me or something. He'll let me know when I'm done talking. But I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna tell y'all, like I said, yes, I'm gonna talk about Moses. That's just like the situation with Moses. Moses helped people to walk across the water. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong in these comments. Look, I'm still learning the Bible. I'm still learning different things. I'm only talking what God want me to talk. So if I'm saying something wrong, please tell me you're wrong. or you're right, or tell me exactly which direction to go. I'm not perfect with this. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a pastor or nothing. I'm only a real person that God touches sometimes and gives me a subject and say, son, I want you to talk to them today. That's all I do is come on here and try to talk to y'all. I don't be knowing how to do it or which way to go. I just do what God puts in my heart when I talk to y'all. So interact with me in these comments if you can. Don't be afraid to talk to me. You know, I love y'all. Talk to me when you can. But anyway, like I said, Moses, okay? That's like just like the situation with Moses when he helped the people to cross the water. See, the water, the tides, they was going. Y'all know the story. You know, but God gave Moses the power to be able to push them tides to the side like this. Just like this. So that his people can walk across the water and come out unharmed and safe. God had a plan for Moses, okay? And his plan was to help lead the people. And that's what Moses did. But he entrusted God, and God guided his footsteps. He was able to help Moses make a way for his people to get across that water. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. When you entrust in God, God will always guide your footsteps. But how will you know what God going to do for you if you limit yourself? Like I said, when it comes down to limiting yourself, I don't just mean don't limit yourself. Some of y'all who getting on this live just now, I don't just mean don't limit yourself when it comes down to success or anything else. When I say don't limit yourself, I mean in life, period. Do not limit yourself in life, period, to anything that you can do in life. If you're a parent and that's what you're best at, then do it. Do it. Continue to do it. Because your purpose might be to raise your children and bring them out and help them to understand God's purpose. Help them to be as successful as possible. Walk them in the right direction. Because these days, having a good parent is hard. Our youth is real misled right now. So if parenting is what you do, don't limit yourself to how you parent. Always know that there's better ways to parent. Just like I don't limit myself as a husband. I always try to find better ways to be a better husband. You know, if you have different things that you're doing, you have goals to set, don't limit yourself with your goals. Always know that there's more goals. Keep on setting more goals. If you fail at one thing, keep it going. Don't be like, oh, I failed or I tried two different goals, and then you get stuck and you just start getting frustrated to the point that you start feeling like, all right, I'm just going to do what I'm doing. I'm working my 9 to 5. I'm content with that. No, don't limit yourself. There's more for you in life. God has more for you in life. You just have to go out there and figure it out. But it's up to you to figure it out. God can give you the footsteps. He can give you the knowledge, but he can't walk life for you. You have to walk this life. Don't limit yourself. Like I said, when it comes down to being successful, don't limit yourself. You never know what your plan is. Also, I want to make it well known to y'all. When it comes down to being successful, if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna have a plan to be successful, make sure that while you're having your plan to be successful, that you have a plan that's bigger than yourself. Don't sit there and try to plan it out and be like, oh, I know I'm gonna do this and do that, and I know I want to be rich, or I want to be this, I want to be that, I'm doing it because this, that, third. No, you have to do it for a purpose that's bigger than you. God didn't build our hearts based on riches. God didn't build our hearts based on fame and all that stuff. God built our hearts genuinely. He built our hearts genuinely. So when it comes down to your purpose and what you want to serve in life, if you know you got a big purpose, you know you about 20, not that far away from being successful, and I might see you on TV one day, when you get the success that God give you, don't limit yourself. Spread the love. What I mean by spread the love is do something that's bigger than yourself. Do something that's going to help somebody. Do something that's going to touch somebody. Help spread love around the world. Give purpose. That's what's most important. That's a part of not limiting yourself too. Give purpose to others when you embrace success. Because if you're doing it for selfish reasons, you're wondering why you're still stuck in that box that I talked about. Just because of the fact that you're not doing it for God's purpose. You're not doing it for the reason that God wants you to do it for. You're doing it for selfishness. Selfishness is the ways of the devil. That is his way of life. We weren't made and put here to serve out our purpose through his way of life. We were put here to serve out our purpose through God's way of life. That's why it's important To always know that if you got a purpose and you're chasing your purpose and you know that you're getting close and that you're about to do something big in life, this is why it's important to make sure that while you're doing that, that when you get there or when you know that you're about to get there or you're planning it out, that you have something planned that's going to be bigger than yourself. And you're going to do it from the genuineness of your heart. That's why. Because if you don't, you will always be limited in one spot. Trust me when I say that. Trust me on this live. I'm being honest with y'all. It don't matter what you try to do. God's always going to humble you. Until you become humble, until you understand that your purpose is bigger than yourself, you're going to stay stuck in that box. It's going to stay packaged, just like the boxes you get in the mail. It's going to stay taped up. You'll never get to open that box. You could try to rip the tape all day, but it's not going to come off. It's going to stay on that box. You're going to be forever stuck in that one spot. Understand that. Don't limit yourself. Never, ever limit yourself. And like I said, when it comes down to life, don't limit yourself. And while you're doing that, understand that we limit ourselves, and when we limit ourselves, we lose ourselves. Like I said in the beginning, there's a whole lot of lost souls in this world. There's a whole lot of people roaming around that could be doing bigger things, greater things with their lives, other than doing things that deal with that tearing them down. But they can't figure that out because they always limit themselves to one thing, or they're stuck where they're limited at. They don't believe they're good enough. They don't believe anything. When you don't believe something like that, that's the devil tricking you out your position. The devil love that. He love to see you stuck in one spot. The devil never want us to accomplish what God has planned for us. The devil never want us to be greater than what we're supposed to be. Because he knows if we become successful, we're doing what God wants us to do. And that's not what the devil wants. He wants us to do the opposite. So when you're down and out and you're going through these things, that you get depressed, you get stressed out. Those are the ways of the devil. When people get depressed and they get stressed out, they stay stuck because they don't know how to deal with it. So as they're walking and they're dealing with these situations, they're just stuck in that one spot. And they're getting weaker and weaker in the mind and in the heart. And it gets to a point where they just don't even want to live life no more. They done lost all hope because they limited themselves. This is why when you're going through things in life, it's important to have God in your heart because God can knock down them roadblocks. The devil always going to throw them roadblocks out there. That's how he make you limit yourself. You got to be able to knock down them barriers and the walls, and you can't do that without God. This thing in life, you got to understand there's a war outside. I'm going to keep telling y'all that every time I get on these lives. There's a war outside. It's us versus them. Angels and demons. God's people versus the devils. It's real. It's real out here. I don't care who come off this live and leave off this live because I ain't saying what y'all want me to say. I'm only saying what God want me to say. Let me tell y'all something. God has his hands on me so heavy. I might not be a preacher. I might not be a prophet. I might not be none of those things. But let me tell y'all something. God has his hands on me so heavy that the devil knows that whatever God got planned for me, I'm getting closer. Because I'm going to tell y'all a true story. I'm going to tell y'all some real facts. Just like I always tell y'all. Last night, I was talking to my mother-in-law, right? So I'm speaking to my mother-in-law. So I'm talking to her, and she's telling me, I'm telling her, like, I feel like, I've always been good at talking to people because she goes to church all the time. And she know about the youth, the troubled youth. I'm telling her, I'm like, I feel like, I've been thinking about a lot of things and, and talking to God and stuff like that. And I feel like, I could probably get into a mentorship program. Like, I feel like my story can help touch other people. I feel like I could go and mentor some of these youth. I can get in their lives. And I'm not talking about when I say mentor, I'm not talking about just come up to the church or come up to the rec center and just talk to them. I'm talking about the ones that I touch. I can really be in their lives. Like, keep in touch with them, keep calling them, checking up on them, popping up in their school, helping them, giving back and everything. I'm telling her this, and I'm like, because I said they might hear my testimony and be like, well, we know about the street life. Everybody growing up in this city, 9 times out of 10 getting the street life, but they don't know that I come from two different sides. I ain't just come from the street life. I've been through surgeries and all that and survived. So for somebody to know that I lived the street life and survived that, and know that I actually had surgeries and survived that, it can wake them up, because that might shock them. Like, wow, you really went through that? I'm playing around my life. I need to get myself together. It might change something. But as soon as I start talking to her about this, and I'm talking to her about these things, let me tell you how I know God got his hands on me. The devil didn't like it. Because out of nowhere, guess what? I'm being honest with y'all. My nose started bleeding. And my nose don't bleed for nothing. My nose just started bleeding. I'm telling my mother-in-law, I'm like, my nose just started bleeding out of nowhere. I'm like, the devil don't like what I'm saying right now. She's like, I said, yeah. She said, that's just the devil trying to scare you. The devil trying to use your health against you. He trying to use your health against you to make you believe that if you start trying to do positive things or talking about positive things, that this is what's going to happen to you. He wants you to believe that he has the upper hand because he know God has his hands on you. Just like this morning, God gave me a subject to come and talk to y'all about. Guess what? This morning, I woke up, my ear was bleeding. Because I said, I'm going to go talk to the people this morning. I woke up this morning, my ear started bleeding. Yeah, for real. I know y'all looking like, oh, that's scary. Yeah, no, I want to tell y'all something. Ain't nothing wrong with my health. I'm good. I go to my doctor's appointments faithfully on a regular. I get checked. I get every week or every other week. I'm in the doctors. I gotta keep. That's how it is when you're a heart and lung transplant patient. You have to constantly go to doctors. My health is good. Nothing wrong with my health. I get my body checked out all the time. I go through my tests, CAT scans, you name it. I go through all that. They make sure my health up to date. I'm good. That's just the devil. That's the devil. That's the devil. He know God got a plan for me. God got his hands on me. I'm telling y'all, I got a purpose to serve out here. And every time that I'm getting closer and closer to understand my purpose of wanting to do what God has planned for me, the devil attacks. That's what he do. Tries to trick me out of my position, but guess what? The devil can't have me. He can make my nose bleed, he can make my ears bleed. He can even try to make me have fuzziness in my face. I could go blind today or tomorrow. That's not going to stop me from serving God's purpose because I will never limit myself. I said when I was in the hospital that I was going to do more things because I only did one thing in life, and that was the streets. God had already told me when I was in those streets, I got a bigger plan for you. So me knowing I got a bigger plan, I know God got his hands on me. Every time I get on this live and I talk to y'all, God touches me. I don't come on this live out of nowhere. Yeah, my wife might tell me, hey, I want you to go speak. Sometimes I tell her, hey, I'll go speak, but first I got to know what God want me to say. So sometimes she might say, well, you know what, honey, I'll just go ahead and do it. And I'll say, okay, babe, we'll agree to that, you know. But when God actually touches my spirit, when he say, hey, I want you to go talk, tell him this is what I want you to talk about, I come on here and I talk to y'all. Today, when I was asleep, like I said, if I woke up, my ear bleeding and everything, what I was given was to never limit yourself. That's what God wanted me to talk to y'all about, limitations. Because some of y'all, somebody on this live right now who's coming on this live, somebody's going to watch this live when I shut this live down, that's going to be able to see it, is limiting themselves in life. Right now as we speak, you're stuck in one spot. God want me to tell y'all, you don't have to be stuck in one spot. Your purpose is bigger than what you're limiting yourself to. You deserve better. You should want better for yourself. Like I said, we all living on a clock. Tick, 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 tick. We're living on a clock every day. Every single day we're living on a clock. You never know when that clock is up. You never know. Your clock can end right now. It can end tomorrow. It can end the day after. That's why it's important. Every morning that you get up, you ain't gotta know what you saying thank you to God for, but it's important to wake up and say thank you. Just say thank you. Just appreciate the fact that God bless you. It don't matter how God bless you or why he bless you. Just appreciate the fact that he did. Just say thank you. Don't hurt to say thank you. If you pray, it don't hurt to say a 2-minute prayer. You can go out here, you can take 2 minutes to do anything else. Why you can't take 2 minutes to pray and talk to God? You want to understand what your purpose is, right? How you going to know what you don't talk to God? You have to have that communication, that relationship with God to understand that. Don't limit yourself. Some of y'all don't want to read the Bible. Some of y'all don't even want to crack the Bible open. Why not? I know the Bible can be a little, I know it can be a little hard to understand because the way to break certain things down and say certain things. But what ain't hard to understand? Some of y'all done been to college. Y'all ain't always know the work right away. Y'all had to get tutors to understand some of that. But guess what? If you don't understand the Bible when you're reading it, or if it's something that's confusing, you don't be understanding some of them words, like you be like, what's this word right here? I can't even, go get an audio book Bible. They have audio book versions of the Bible where the Bible will read everything to you word by word. They even got, believe it or not, the technology is so improved these days that they have sections in the Bible where you can have a study group or you can have studying in the Bible. They have it made like that now. So go out there and do it. Read the Bible. Don't make no excuses. You have to know what's going on in life. Because what's going on in life right now and the things and the tools that you need and the guidance that you need is right there in the Bible. If you don't want to read the Bible, go to church. It don't hurt to step your foot in church. Okay? I stepped my foot in church when I was in the streets for my wife. And let me tell y'all, I wasn't perfect when I stepped in the church. I didn't even believe in going to church. I didn't believe in none of that. But I stepped foot in the church because of the fact that I love my wife. I was willing to try. And I went and I loved it. I loved it because one thing about her father as a pastor, he ain't fake with it. Everything, what he said that day touched my spirit when I first stepped in the church. Don't never be afraid and look at it like, oh, I done did too much. God ain't going to want me to step in this church and all that. Let me tell you something. God is a forgiving God. I'm going to keep telling y'all that on these lives. God is a forgiving God. He's a loving God. He hears you. He knows your spirit. He knows that you want to do better. He knows that you're trying. He understands that. And in church, let me tell you something. And you people hear it all the time. They come in church. You are welcome. Come as you are. You don't gotta worry about, oh, I know I can't go to church because I dress like this. Come as you are. Don't be afraid to step your foot in the church. Don't limit yourself. Like I said, there's different ways to bring God into your heart. There's different ways to understand what your purpose is. But do not limit yourself. Don't stay stuck in a box. Don't be packaged. Don't be the package that stays at the U-Haul place. Yes, I said U-Haul in the storage room. Don't be the package that stays at the UPS that's coming through the mail or the post office. Be that package that goes to its destination. Okay? You have a destination. You have a purpose. So don't be stuck being packaged up. Get to where you're going. And the only way you can do that is by not limiting yourself, keeping God in your heart, putting him first, trusting in him to guide your footsteps, and understand that you are bigger than what you think you are. I appreciate y'all. For those who came on here on this live and listened to me talk today, like I said, I only come on here and I talk to y'all whenever God puts something in my heart. Sometimes you might see me, sometimes you won't. Sometimes I take over for my wife, sometimes I don't. You know, when she need me to, when she ain't feeling well or something, or she want me to speak, you know, sometimes I come on here and I talk. But my name is Conscious. For those of y'all who don't know me, for those of y'all who do know me, I'm Conscious. You might see me again, you might not. But I only got on here today because God wanted me to talk to y'all. God is pleased with what I said. I don't have to say no more. I done touched somebody today. I don't care who I touch. I don't care if it's one person, two people. I done touched somebody today, and that was my purpose, was to come on here and touch somebody based on what God wanted me to say. Know your purpose. Before I get on this off this live, I'm going to tell you one more time. It's a new year, okay? You have a fresh start. Don't waste it. Don't waste this year being packaged up. Be that package that opens and reaches its destination. Because you never know what you're going to do can change somebody else's life this year. What you're going to do can do bigger things for your life this year. Make use of this year. Be wiser. Be smarter. Keep God in your heart. Trust in him. And he'll guide you the rest of the way. Don't limit yourself to one thing. Set bigger goals. If you fail at one thing, get up and move at another. Y'all take care. I love y'all. Thank you for taking time out to rock with me for this. How long I've been on here? Wow, an hour and 3 minutes. Well, I didn't even know that. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me for the time that I've been on here. I'm Conscious.